All right, so what's going on, everybody? I'm just making a kind of impromptu video here to try to maybe see if anybody out there has some ideas, because I have been messing with this thing for several months. I think it's been almost 6 months that I've been trying to diagnose this issue. I've checked pretty much everything that I possibly can. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I'm sure you guys have probably seen a little bit about what's going on, but I'm pretty well versed in how this whole system works and how to diagnose cars. I mean, I do this professionally, and I still have not been able to find the cause of this, but basically my AVCS is not working properly. It sort of kind of comes and goes and will advance the cams whenever it kind of seems like it wants to, like it's providing duty, and then it doesn't actually advance the cams. You rev it up and then let it drop and decel, and it will actually advance while it's dropping down, which is very strange. I've gone through every single thing mechanically. I've taken the whole motor back apart. It's back together now. Like, this has been a thing that's been going on for the last 6 months. I have proved it is not a mechanical issue. Basically what I did is, like right over here, I have one of my old solenoids that I swapped out to trying to fix it. Did not work, but I took a 9-volt battery and I hooked up some leads to it. And as I was running the car, I basically had the car at about 2,000 RPM and just sort of tapped the 9-volt battery, and the cams advance totally normal. So I did borrow the lab scope from my work, and we lab scoped the AVCS solenoids to see what was going on. And basically it's just dropping the output. Like, the waveform is sporadic, and when there is a waveform, the cams do advance, but most of the time there is no waveform. So it's definitely a wiring problem. I've been talking to a lot of different people, trying to figure out, what could possibly be it, going over engine grounds and just every single possibility I could possibly think of. I installed the iWire grounding kit. I have traced every single wire for the cam sensors, the solenoids, the crank sensor, every single power and ground going into the ECU. Everything seems perfect. There's no high resistance on any wires. I'm getting good ground at the ECU. I've redone the grounds to the ECU. I'm getting almost perfect battery power straight to the ECU, just key on. It's really, really strange. So other than that, the car runs really good. It does kind of stumble when it's trying to run into the AVCS curve. So obviously that's an issue, but it does run and drive perfectly fine, other than this AVCS issue. I'm throwing P0011 and 21 codes for the bank 1 and 2 cam position over advanced or system performance, because obviously that's not advancing when the ECU is commanding it to. So after a certain amount of time of it not advancing when the ECU is commanding duty, it throws those codes. I also have a ethanol content sensor low voltage code, which I have also gone through all the wiring through that. So I don't know if my content sensor controller is just bad or what, but that's probably it's probably not related, because I've gone through all the wiring for all that, like the O2 sensor wiring and all the connections that actually tie into everything and provide power. Everything's perfect. 5-volt references are perfect. 12-volt references are perfect. Grounds are good. Something is up. The ECU is just not outputting a waveform on either solenoid. It's both banks. I tried different ECUs. I've replaced every mechanical part. I've had the camshafts out. I've replaced sensors. I've replaced literally every common problem that you can think of, I've done. There are no screens in the AVCS system. I've checked oil pressure going into the back of the solenoid directly with a mechanical gauge. It's 80 psi of oil pressure. It's not a mechanical problem whatsoever. The ECU is just not outputting voltage. When I supply voltage, it does work. So I don't know if anybody out there maybe has some stock ECU knowledge, or is more familiar with these GD ECUs. I don't know. I've talked to a lot of people so far, and nobody's really had any ideas. I think the next thing is I'm gonna pull the dash back out and just check the harness. I've been going back and forth with iWire this whole time. I've done everything that they've suggested to do. They are basically out of ideas at this point. I just can't seem to find anything that will affect a change in the condition. It just does the same thing all the time. So I don't know, just kind of making this video to see if anybody out there has any ideas of things I could try to test electronically, because any mechanical suggestion you have to check screens or oil filters or oil pressure, whatever, it's not that. I've had the camshafts out. They are Kelford cams. I have confirmed with Kelford that these are not part of any of the mishaps of their oil port issues. I actually compared them to a set of stock cams. The oil ports are identical. I've tried different cam gears. I've tried different solenoids. I've literally gone through everything mechanical. It does work when it's supplied with a waveform. So, yeah, just, leave a comment if you guys have any ideas of some electronic things I could try. I've added more grounds. I don't know. I scoped the cam sensors and the signal is good. There doesn't really seem to be any electrical interference. I tried a different alternator, tried a different throttle body. I tried lots of different things. I tried running it without an alternator at all, just running it off straight battery. I tried, like I said, I got a different ECU, ignition system, all that. So yeah, I don't know if anybody's had any issues similar to this. I haven't found anybody online who's ever had anything like this. This is a kind of an interesting dilemma, because nobody really has a car with this exact setup either. This is, an 05 engine harness and engine setup, but then it has a JDM Forester chassis harness merged into the legacy harness. So I have multiple wiring diagrams I have to compare to trace stuff correctly, but I've traced all the wires for the solenoids. They're all going to the right place. Seems like, anyway. I tried swapping them too. I just tried swapping the pins at one of the solenoids just to see if maybe that made a difference. No difference. I'm thinking about trying to swap them bank to bank, but even then, if it was a bank to bank issue, both banks should be advancing at the same time, so that I'm not really sure that makes sense either. So, yeah, just wanted to put it out there, see if anybody could give some help or some ideas, at least on what I could test that would maybe prevent an ECU from outputting a consistent waveform. I know most things from an ECU are not a 12 volt output, so most things are 5 volts. So that I think that kind of narrows it down a bit. But yeah, just wanted to put something out there to see if anybody had any ideas. I could finally get this thing fully tuned, because I've only put 140 miles on it since getting it together over the last 6 months. So I'd really like to finish it and actually enjoy it. This has just been really frustrating. So yeah, just leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. All right, thanks.